find my purpose. What is vision, purpose, value? What is vision? So that is what we shall discuss on this rising. Vision, purpose, and value. Before we get too far into things, may the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in Yahweh's sight. He is our strength and our Redeemer. And it's in His name, which is His authority, that we pray, praise, proclaim, project, and protect this message. Amen and Ashe. We give all honor to the Most High, Yahweh Elohim. I give all honor to Him for my wife, the Honorable Maya. I'm going to put some of her information up in a second if you'd like to be able to support things that she's doing and learn from her as well. And she is myself and I am her. And we work in this together, and I'm grateful to be on this journey with her. So I'm thankful and grateful for her presence in everything, whether she's with us. And we're thankful and grateful to everybody who's on here. You can find her at information I'm right up in a second, but she's at Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, but the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. You can find her on TikTok, YouTube, and her website. Real quick, I got everything out here except my water, so I'm gonna go grab that and then we're gonna get started, okay? So allow me to just go grab some water real quick, which I can already hear within my voice and feel that I need. So I'm gonna go grab that real quick and then we're gonna get right into these things, okay? So I'll be right back and we'll get ready to get started ASAP. Thanks again for being on. We appreciate you. I'm literally just gonna grab my jug of water. I already got my copper cup. Just need to grab the water itself and I shall return. Be right back. Sorry. Oh, never mind. I did bring the water. I didn't think I was right. I didn't see it. There we go. I got the water. Everything's all great. Everything's lovely. Alrighty. Let's see if we can get Facebook up here real quick. Up and going. Alrighty. And so this is kind of a review, or not kind of, we talk about this quite often. So this is a review. We'll try to talk about it in a different manner. Also, though, we haven't had this on our new YouTube channel yet, so this will be something that's nice to make sure that people can look up and find on the new YouTube channel. And we're thankful and grateful for the opportunity to bring this back before you all. Okay. Alrighty. So, I think we've got everything ready to go. Let me just make sure that I've got Facebook back on. Then we'll put my wife's information up if you'd like to be able to check out her information and check out what she's doing for the community. And then we shall continue on our journey together on this rising. Alrighty. So, once again, if you're looking for us, you can find us anywhere. Our YouTube channel is actually #FindKofi. So you can look up #FINDKOFI. The website, kofi-40.com. Number 410-714-5078. Another number, 202-599-7312. If you're looking for something like Cash App or anything like that, then that's on the TikTok page. It will be in the description box for the videos, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or even if you're going to listen to the podcast later on, or we're listening live right now. Shalom to Chef, I see you on there. And thank you for the positive energy and all that. I apologize if I don't catch everybody's information as it's popping up. I'm a human being, and you guys put quite a bit of information on there, so I try my best to keep up as best as I can. All right, so that's the information. If you'd like to be able to get with us, feel free to take a screenshot. Feel free to go on the YouTube channel and catch that stuff later on, or the podcast to get that description box. Those are on Facebook. Feel free to catch this later on, okay? Let me put my wife's information up here as well before we get into this. So you can check her out. I was saying you can check her out at Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, but the letter N. So make sure that you check her out, Bloom and Flourish. And you can also text her to be able to find out about tinctures and different ways to live in a healthy life and things like that. You can go ahead and text her at 410. I'm trying not to mix up our two numbers. 410-469-1553. All right. So those are the numbers that you can text her at to be able to get or the number you can text her at to get in contact with her. Bloom and Flourish. You can also check her out at Bloom and Flourish on TikTok, YouTube, and her website bloomandflourish.com. All right. Today we're going to focus on vision, purpose, and value. Right. We're going to focus on vision, purpose, and value. We've been talking a lot about purpose, vision, and even value. It's actually, I think it's the third or fourth chapter or day in our book, 21 Days of Motivation. And so some of you have been hearing about this since forever. Some of you have been hearing about this since at least early this year. Some of you got the book and even went to the conference that we did, the 21 Days of Motivation conference at the beginning of the year, and you were able to receive some stuff on this. We're going to speak on vision, purpose, and value. It's very important. It's essential to what we're doing. And people are have been asking, how do you define vision? How do you define purpose? How do you do this? How do you do that, etc.? So that's what we're going to talk about on this rising. Vision, purpose, and value. So number one, we must always make sure that we establish culture, right? So culture is very important to us, right? Culture is going to affect your culture is going to affect your beliefs. Beliefs going to affect your emotions. Emotions are going to affect your mood. Your mood is going to affect your your culture is going to affect your beliefs. Your beliefs are going to affect your emotions. Your emotions are going to affect your feelings. Your feelings will then affect your mood. Your mood is going to affect the effort or energy you put into anything, and your effort or energy is going to directly affect your habits that you develop, right? So if we're talking about vision, purpose, and value, we call it we like to do this with it right here and call it VPV. VPV. Vision, purpose, and value. So if we're speaking on vision, purpose, and value, we got to be in a situation where we comprehend, understand, and think about what's happening as far as vision, purpose, and value. So quick working definitions before we go too deep into this. If we're talking about vision, we're essentially, thinking about too many things in my head. Let me slow down a little bit. When we're speaking on vision, we're essentially speaking about a blueprint. Okay? A blueprint. When we're speaking about purpose, we are talking about daily manifestation. Okay? And we're talking about value. When we speak on value, we're talking about appreciation. Okay? Prayerfully you guys caught all those. And as we get ready, this is our year of pursuit, right? So in our year of pursuit, we're trying to make sure that we pursue the promises of the Most High, right? So in our year of pursuit, pursuing the promises of the Most High, and in our mode now, #finish strong, where we're finishing strong out the rest of the year, vision, purpose, and value is a lot, right? Vision, purpose, and value. So I have to have a vision, right? What is the blueprint? So a lot of people say, what is vision? How do I find vision, et cetera, et cetera? Right? How do I find vision? How do I establish vision? How do I find the vision? How do I make it plain upon the tablets or whatever? Well, first and foremost, a vision is a blueprint. So with a blueprint, you have an idea in mind already. What is it that you want to build? Before you even start with the blueprint, right? You already know what is it that you want to build. You already know where do you want to build, right? Like you already know the location. You already know who, what, where, when, why, and how, right? Because the blueprint has to contain everything. In a blueprint, they have to actually think about how much something weighs. A lot of us kind of have like a Sims blueprint mentality, you know. Those of you who grew up with Sims and stuff like that, or even they had games and little things that you could build foundations and stuff, or you could build blueprints rather, until you would just write out a blueprint and then something would magically build it. However, when you're writing out a blueprint, you have to think to yourself, how much can be inside of it? How much furniture will be inside of it? How much will the clothes weigh that people wear? How many people will be coming in? Is it possible that people could go past the capacity? So when you see in an elevator or you see in a building, this room only has a capacity for da-da-da-da-da. What they're saying is that really there's more people that can fit in here, but as far as the blueprint, we know that if we start going over this number, we only have a little bit more time before everything's going to fall apart. Everything's going to be too much. It's going to be too much weight. It might expand the room. There might be too much oxygen in certain places and situations, right? Like there's a lot of stuff that has to go into the thought of building a hotel. You know, all praise to the Most High for my wife being on. Hey, babe, I love you very much. Thanks for being on, right? So vision, purpose, and value is important. The vision is what? The blueprint. You know, once again, where are you building? What are you trying to build? What is the purpose of this exercise, right? Then I go back from the vision and I start my journey in building a foundation to get me towards it. So the foundation is going to take a really long time. Then after that, I have to build, you know, the structure, the skeleton, if you will, right? Then I've got to go from there to start building. Okay, now I've got to have some places for people to stand, and I've got to have some plumbing, and I've got to have some electricity, and I've got to do this and that or whatever. I've got to go through a long process. But the blueprint is going to inform every decision I'm going to make. So your blueprint is important, your vision. Your blueprint is extremely important when it comes towards your vision. Where are you headed? Right? Your vision is extremely important. So now after that, purpose comes in. Purpose is daily manifestation. People confuse vision and purpose all the time. And look, there's a lot of people who I love their books that were written on purpose, and they'll give a different definition of purpose. That's why I say we'll make this our working definition. However, I want you to recognize that purpose and vision, although intertwined, are not the same thing, right? Like purpose and vision are intertwined, but they're not the same thing, right? Faith and works are the same thing, but they're not, are intertwined, but they're not the same thing, right? Grace and mercy are intertwined, but they're not the same thing, okay? So humus and man are intertwined, human, right? But they're not necessarily the same thing. Like you've got to get to the place where we use words correctly. So purpose is talking about daily manifestation. Now that I have a blueprint secured, all right? Now that I have a blueprint secured, what comes next is purpose. Now that I know what I'm supposed to build, where I'm supposed to build it, how much it's supposed to carry, how much it's going to cost, how much effort's going to be there, how much human equity do I need to put in, or sweat equity, if you will, that's going to need to go into this, all these different things. Now I get into a place where I say, all right, what's the purpose? See, my vision will dictate my purpose, as we spoke on some yesterday in the Rising. My vision, my blueprint is going to dictate my purpose. So we were talking about yesterday, like purpose, and we were talking about how purpose will protect you on your way to the journey. Well, vision directs your purpose. So if somebody says, you know, would you like this type of clothing, this and that, or whatever, I have to say culturally and actually what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to present in front of people and who I am anyways, my vision of self, my vision of people, my vision that I'm supposed to land in, the vision of what people are looking for, the vision of what the Most High requires, even my clothing has purpose. Some of you just can see, man, that color green looks nice, I'm going to get it. What purpose does it serve though? Right? Come on, ladies, right? You've all been in the situation, and fellas too, we be honest. We've all seen people in situations to where they're wearing something, or you bought something, you've seen somebody buy something, and it stays in the closet, and they keep saying, man, I'm just looking for the right time to wear it. You know why? Because you bought it, but you didn't consider the purpose. You didn't consider the cost. You didn't consider, when will I be able to wear this? When will I not be able to wear this? There was never a purpose involved. You just bought it because, hey man, that looks nice. I think I got something in the closet that matches that. But then the reality hits like, okay, this is a little, I can't just wear this anywhere. What's the purpose of this? So it sits there 2-3 years, and finally 3 years later you say, man, I can finally wear this thing. Now you spent 200-300 on it, right? But never had a purpose. And you might have kind of sort of had a vision, but really you had no vision. Like the vision was, okay, it matches or it looks nice. I like the color, but there was no purpose attached to it. I mean, I'm sorry, there was no vision really that you had that was like truly holistic. The word holy even means whole, right? So there was nothing that was like whole in it. You just kind of sort of were like, I like that. You bought it. Now you have no purpose for it. And so the value of it depreciates. It's just sitting in your closet. Did you catch that? The value of it. Because you might have bought that thing for 300 and nobody else would buy it for 300, but you bought it for 300, right? So now that you bought it for 300, it's depreciating. It's just sitting in a place. It does not have the value that it would have if it was in its purpose. If people could see it, it would at least have some value. But it's just sitting there in your closet. So the only purpose it has is sitting in a closet. See? So vision was going to directly affect your purpose. However, you could buy some Payless flip-flops and match them with your little green dress going to the beach, take some pictures, and people will say you look nice because they serve a purpose at the beach. So the value of the flip-flops is actually more valuable than the $300 suit or dress that's just sitting in the closet because it's serving no purpose in the closet where the other one's in its purpose at the beach. Right? So a lot of people think that value, so can you see how value is now the appreciation for something to appreciate, for it to gain value? The appreciation of something is where the value comes in. If somebody can see that and say, man, I like that, but somebody never sees what's in the closet, they might like it, but because they've never seen it, because they don't see it in action, because it serves no purpose, and there was no vision for it, that thing loses value, it loses appreciation. Right? That people don't know. Watches appreciate in value. People make fun of people talking about their watch collection and stuff. People who get a lot of watches, their watches appreciate in value. A lot of people don't know that. If you're somebody out there and you get a watch, your watch appreciates in value. So when it appreciates in value, that means that the watch itself is now more valuable because it's on your wrist. People see it, they appreciate it, the value is going up. It's because it has a purpose. It's on my wrist, right? I'm using it to tell time or just using it to flaunt whatever, but I'm using it constantly. And I had a vision when I bought it that I wanted people to see it. Even something that simple, vision, purpose, value, right? So in your life, you need to have a vision so strong that it brings about purpose. Daily manifestation, every day, what is this manifesting to get me towards the vision? And then value attaches itself to the manifestation. The more things manifest, the more values there, the more appreciation happens, right? Vision, purpose, value, and here's where the rubber meets the road, because a lot of people don't like this type of teaching. So people come on when we talk about racism. People come on when we talk about the Bible says that black people are this and that or whatever, white people are this, that, whatever. The people come on to fight about stuff that they don't want to hear. They don't want to hear about, or people love sovereignty. This is the stuff that's sovereign right here, because every sovereign has to have a vision that allows them to live in sovereignty every day and allows them to get more into sovereignty, which now has them more valuable as being unemployable as a sovereign than it does being a debt slave to being a 14th Amendment citizen. But a lot of people are going to miss this here because vision, purpose, and value, people don't even think that this is important. But if you can't see it, you won't do it. And if you won't do it, how can you have any value on it? That's a big amen right there. Right? That's a big amen right there. And you got to understand, a lot, like men, we're even designed for that. Men are designed for a vision, purpose, and value. Like we literally, I'm not saying women aren't either, but I'm saying men. My wife actually talked about this, I think, on when she was doing class last semester, when she was doing oh wow, this thing won't post. Interesting. I don't know why it won't post. But anyways, you know, she was talking about how this is a very masculine way of looking at things, but this is something that crosses the lines of feminine attributes and things like that as well, right? Vision, purpose, and value. Like we are very, but men are very much so into, I got to see it work. I got to see it on paper. You know, men are very much so like, I need to do it before I feel it. Women are very much so, I need to feel it before I do it. Men are very much so like, I need to see it done. Then I need to do it myself. I need to see results, daily manifestation, and then, okay, I appreciate it now. I'll do what's necessary. Right? Show me that you'll show me love when I do the honey-do list, and I'll do the honey-do list all day, every day. Just show me that you'll show me love. If I do it, and you show me show me love, right? Or if I do it, I get a bunch of stuff work done, and then the love shows up, appreciation. I appreciate you. I thank you so much for doing that, baby. You didn't have to do that. Oh, and look at you bringing the groceries in. You're so strong. You say that to a little boy. Slice up a little boy's head. Say, boy, look at you doing all that stuff. Look at you, man, counting up that money. Look at you doing those flips. Look at you carrying those groceries in. That little boy will start doing way more, probably push himself too far, but he'll start pushing himself because the vision that he has of himself is being somebody that can become a king. And his purpose in everything he does, even when he's playing games, is to try and be a king. So he's trying to manifest things, and when he's manifesting things and you show appreciation for it, oh my goodness, right? You said you would tell your dad how strong he is, yeah. Or telling just men in general, telling boys, right? When somebody comes in and they're not sagging their pants, everybody's always talking about you sagging your pants. Well, shoot, he's not sagging pants. He's supposed to. I'm not gonna say anything. Well, if all his friends are sagging his pants and he's not, tell him that I see you not doing that, and watch him show appreciation, or watch him appreciate. Watch his value go. Watch his shoulders go back. Watch him start explaining to his friends why they shouldn't do it. Right? Vision, purpose, and value. So once again, the vision is what? Your vision is, we're dealing in the blueprint. Purpose, we're dealing in daily manifestation. Value, we're dealing in appreciation. We're watching something grow, right? Something now is more appreciable. Something now is more able to attach value to it. Now we can say, hey, we can see the worth in it. And a lot of people don't see the worth in what a lot of people are doing because you're not in your purpose, because you're not following the blueprint. You don't even have a blueprint. And if you have a blueprint, you keep putting the blueprint to the side. Well, you know, when my children get older, you know, when I get married, you know, when my husband starts acting right, when these bills get more under control, right? As if you need money to establish a vision. Selah, right? You can be broke and still establish a vision. You think Bill Gates had money? I mean, I'm not saying that they weren't living in whatever valley. Why am I forgetting the name of that valley? Where all the people that make computers are. But I'm not saying they weren't living in great situations, but some of them were doing everything out of a basement. They still had a blueprint. Right? They still had a blueprint. You said if you brag on someone while they are working for you, they will work twice as hard. That's very true. Silicon Valley, thanks, babe. Yeah, so they might have even been there, but they weren't, like, people act like these people had made it already. No, like, people act like these people even went to college and stuff. Like, no, they got out of stuff. Bill Gates was supposed to be a terrible student. Oprah Winfrey. If you know her story, I'm not going to go deep into it, right? And I'm not even saying these are people that you would consider to be righteous or whatever. That's for you to have. We can have that conversation later on. I'm talking about, if we be honest about who these people are, and who they were and what their backgrounds were, they didn't start off with everything. Eric Thomas, he didn't start off with everything. If you want to look up who he is, a motivational speaker, eating out of trash cans. He'll tell you this almost every time he speaks, and I don't mind it because it's his story. He's giving his testimony, right? T.D. Jakes, somebody who lived in West Virginia, who watched his father open a business, but still, when he got married, was so poor that he was picking up. He built the church, took over a church, was bringing all the congregation members with him in a van that had a hole in the bottom of the van, had several children at the time, had a wife who almost died a couple times, right, and was working a third shift job as a grave digger, digging ditches so that they could put dead bodies in, and then had to go to a church to try and give a living word. right? Okay, if it's misspelled, whatever, that's fine. Thank you. So, at the end of the day, this is what you're dealing with, right? So at the end of the day, this is what we're dealing in. You have to establish vision, purpose, and value. All right. So now I want you to see how important this stuff is. I want you to see it in action, because if you're in a kingdom, which we have a kingdom mentality, we have a kingdom psychology that we come out of, right? We're not just coming out of anything randomly, right? We have a vision, right, that allows our purpose, what we do every day, what we speak on every day, etc. We have a vision who is, oh, no problem. Okay. I didn't know if it was mine or yours. I'd be misspelling stuff from time to time. But so we have a vision and purpose and a value that's established, right? But our vision is kingdom oriented. All right. So this vision, which is kingdom oriented, this vision, which is what? Kingdom oriented. That's what we're going to go into. So when we talk about a kingdom, how do you establish a kingdom vision? And then how do you establish kingdom purpose? And then how do you establish value in the kingdom? Because kingdom law is going to affect natural law, it's going to affect universal law, it's going to affect laws of attraction, it's going to affect law of first mention, it's going to affect constitutional law, it's going to affect law of equity, admiralty law, common law. It's going to affect all these different laws that people have, right? The laws of gravity, etc., all these different things that we have, right? Okay. So the kingdom law, what's going to be first? There has to be royalty, right? In ours, we say it's the king. You could be a king or a queen in this position. In the kingdom, though, in our kingdom, we have a king. Okay. So when the king, right, when we're talking about colonization and how it happens, if a king, because we should be colonizing, by the way, too. So you got to come out, when you talk about vision, you've got to be somebody who's contextually factual. You have to have contextual facts, not just facts and not just context. You have to have both of them together. Just because there are kingdoms that have mismanaged people and human beings and tried to manage them instead of manage the environment doesn't mean every kingdom has been about enslaving human beings and managing them, right? So so you as a king or queen have the opportunity to be in a kingdom and also be over a kingdom at the same time, because you only have authority from somebody who gave you authority. You can only be a king or queen depending on your birth, right? Or if you've been adopted in. Even a king or queen, somebody who's born as a prince, they still have to be adopted into the role of king. Adoption does not mean that you just aren't part of a family you're brought in. Adoption means that we've appointed you. So you can be in the same bloodline and still not be adopted to the throne if you're not in legal standing. The word righteous actually literally means to be in right legal standing. So we have a kingdom and we have a king. Now, kingdoms do something that's important. Kingdoms, they expand, right? Kingdoms do something that's very important. Kingdoms do what? They expand. So, in a kingdom, in the Radach is actually the Israelite term. If we're in a kingdom, or a biblical term, if you will, but to be in a kingdom, you have to expand. Amen. Thank you, Minister Tamara. She spoke about this actually before. She said adoption means appointed to a position, right? And you say can't have authority without it being given first. That's right. That you have to be authorized, right? So don't talk about your authority and yet you don't want to be authorized by someone or something or some system. You can't. When people say I'm just my own person, I do what I want, that's a person with no authority, right? Nobody who has authority says that I do things without a system involved. Nobody who has authority does things without a system involved. I'm going to say that one more time. Nobody who has a system does things without a system involved. Okay? So, your system, as we talked about yesterday, when we talked about your purpose, your system is going to be about your purpose. Vision, purpose, value. When you have a vision in place, what is the system going to do for your vision? What is your vision? What is your vision to expand? See, your vision shouldn't be something that's just, so a lot of people just say, oh, well, I just want to be a good person and I just want to kind of be to myself and I don't really like being around people. And, okay, like what is that going to, so your vision is to be very closed off. And that's all right, I guess, except the problem with that is the more closed off you are you talking about closing off of finances? Well, I want my finances to grow. Well, then you got to have something that's going to reach somebody outside of just your home. My wife said authority needs system. I'm in, right? Right? And by the way, a lot of people are under people. I loved you saying it that way, babe, because a lot of people want to be under authority that has no system. I can't tell you how many churches I've been to in my life. I can't tell you how many temples I've been to. I can't tell you how many mosques I've been to. I can't tell you how many street preachers I've been under. I can't tell you how many places I've gone where people keep talking about building these big churches, but there's no system. So here you have all these people that congregate together, and yet no bills get paid. People broke keep tithing to something that gives them no return in equity, even though Proverbs chapter 1 verse 3 tells you that, hey, if you're going to be about wisdom, wisdom should cause you to have some equity. If you're going to tithe, then people should be taken care of, right? At least called up something. Come to visit if you can, right? No system in place, right? So we have to have a system that's expansive. Your system can't keep you in the same place that it's been keeping you. Said no purpose for a lot of these organizations without systems in place to get something relevant done, right? That's why all these churches are usually going to come, you know, unfortunately, if we keep it real, a lot of these churches are going to come with a liquor store in the corner, right? We've seen that quite a bit. A lot of these churches are going to come with people who, you know, have made it, a couple people who made it. They just reflect the same society you're in. You got a lot of people, you got a few people who show up and they're dressed down to the T. Some people that are dressed up as much as they can be and they look really nice, but you can tell they're not really on the same level. And then you got a lot of people who just are coming, doing the best that they can, and they usually are the majority. Why is that a reflection? Why does that happen the same way in church as it does outside of church? Because they have the same system or lack thereof. Right? They're showing the same exact thing. You said sad but true, leading by example. Yeah, so they're showing the same exact thing they show up to. They're showing the exact same tendency. They're showing the same exact tendency that they do when they go to the world. It's the same percentage. So your kingdom has to expand. If your kingdom's not expanding, if something like this says, I once was young and now I'm old, and I've never seen the righteous, the ones in right legal standing, living, I've never seen them, what is it? I once was young and now old, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor their seed begging bread. That's two different things, by the way. To be forsaken means Yah's forsaken you. He said, let me also say, I've never seen the forsaken. Why? At and in our language doesn't mean what a lot of people think it means. And can be the beginning of the sentence. It can also be pointing towards something specific. So if you were to break this word and down, Davad, or his name actually means beloved, right? David, his name means beloved. So beloved is saying that I, as beloved, who am beloved by the Most High, have never seen somebody in right legal standing forsaken, right? Which should lead them towards their seed, their children, and their words that they speak as well. Seed should never be poor or should never be begging bread. Yet, we have all these people say they're in the kingdom and they're begging bread. There's cognitive dissonance there. Somebody would disallow that though and say that's Old Testament. That's why they get you on that, because that means that I don't have to go back and actually talk about lawfully righteous legal standing where stuff should be. Right? But I've never seen. He said, I once was young, now I'm old. And I've never seen somebody in right legal standing with the word of Yah as a beloved man of Yah. I've never seen a person who's doing what they're supposed to do forsaken because they're in the law. And therefore, I've never seen their seed begging for bread. So in the kingdom that expands, following the proclamation of the king is very important. Vision, purpose, and value. See, colonization, we've been taught is a curse word because people colonize, the most recent people to colonize other people have been colonizing them outside of vision, purpose, and value, at least for them. They had a vision for you to serve them. They didn't have a vision to serve you. The Most High, when he blesses you, the word bless, barak, if you study it, it even means to get down on one knee and to give. In order for him to bless you, he has to serve you. The Most High has to serve us in order to actually bless us. Yet we're out here trying to bless people and expand kingdom but we don't understand as kings or queens, right? I'm using king because you can see the word, a king that dominates, right? But a king or queen, right? Here, the royalty that's supposed to dominate, dominates by service. A king should be able to give out of their bounty. A queen should be able to give out of their bounty. All right? So king dominates. The king also sits on the throne. He has a throne position. When you talk about the throne of the Most High, the throne doesn't change from location to location to location, does it? You've never read in the Bible that the throne was in India today, and then the next scripture, the throne was in China, and then the next scripture, the throne, right? You didn't hear that the throne was in Bethlehem, then it was in Nazareth, and then it was in Jerusalem, right? You know, then it was on the border of the Red Sea, then it went down to Kemet, but then it came back to Jerusalem. You never saw it. The throne of Yah is in the same place it's always been. The throne has to stay consistent. That if you choose to grow past the belief system you were given, first you need to find a foundation of, okay? I don't know what the rest of that is yet, but yeah, we should have a foundation. That's why we talked about a house, and a house has a foundation, and that the foundation takes longer to grow than the other parts. Nevertheless, if you're talking about a kingdom mentality, and being a king or a queen or royalty, this person right here, you even, as a person who's going to have your own kingdom under the king, you have to have a position in your mindset where you start thinking to yourself, okay, I as a person of royalty have to have a throne, and the throne room has to be consistent, and my court has to be consistent. And thank you for the likes, thank you for the gifts, all those things we appreciate. It helps us with the algorithm, and we appreciate you very much. Thank you. So I have a throne here, and my throne does what? My throne is doing what? My throne is consistent. It stays in the same place. Is there anything about your life, about your vision, about your purpose that's consistent? If you have people who have 8 different visions, are usually people who are not going to be very consistent. How can you be consistent if you're serving? Remember we talked about yesterday, serve your purpose. Your purpose is daily manifestation that brings you to the vision, right? Your purpose is daily manifestation that brings you to the vision. You can't put too much value on stuff if you've always got 75 visions. If you got 8 visions, today your vision is to do this, tomorrow your vision is to do this. Man, well, you know, I've been praying, the Most High told me, I don't even know what to do. I'm just following what Yah says. If you're following what Yah says, you know what to do. Obedience, that's another way of saying it. Yes, Minister Nice. The Queen, I believe, says, change your mind, change your life. Okay. Change your mind, change your pneumatical thought. Pneuma literally mind, pneuma literally means spirit. So, you know, that's why they say there's a brain and there's a mind. Okay, I get that, right? But that's what we're trying to do, is change the mindset. Here we change lives one mind at a time, right? So the mindset of you here has to be into doing something expansive, greater than yourself. And you as the royalty have to be willing to what? To be in the same position. Your throne stays in the same position. Do you not know that wherever a king or queen goes, if they were to go there to live, or even if they visit somewhere else, technically, wherever they go, the kingdom goes. And if they stay away long enough, though, there's this other technicality that kind of comes in, where people start to try and sit on what? The throne while they're gone. Because if you can sit on the throne, you sit in the position of power, because the throne is central to what happens. And a lot of people, they go on vacation from the throne, right? Somebody makes you upset. Oh, I'm going to come down off the throne. I'm going to tell you about yourself, right? You don't have to leave the throne. The judgment that you're allowed to give, right, how to judge matters as royalty, you do it from the throne. If somebody's to be knighted, you do it from the throne. You don't go somewhere to another country to knight somebody. If somebody wants to be knighted under your jurisdiction, you bring him to the throne. Right? Like, the throne is where the stuff is. You know, the throne is where the stuff is. Thank you, Beverly. You said consistency in vision and purpose increases value. Exactly. Vision, purpose, value, they go together. So the king has to do this. Now watch this. So now the king, since the king stays on the throne, right? King George, who was over the United States of America, or well, it wasn't the United States of America yet, but was over the colonies there, and the colonies in Canada, and the colonies in India, and the colonies in Australia, and the colonies, all these places. He rarely visited those places because he was supposed to be where the throne was. So guess what he did? He gave authority, right? He authorized someone to be a representative of himself. Now, you can call them whatever. Sometimes they were missionaries and different things as well, and usually you send a missionary first. You know, that's a whole other topic. And you usually send the missionary first to be able to say that Yah has allowed you to enslave this or do this or whatever, and you should follow us and get rid of your belief system, et cetera, right? But I'm sorry, I said the government. Well, actually, I guess he sent a government because he would send the government. He wouldn't send himself. He would send the government. What governs him is what he sent. Did you check that out? Thank you, Holy Spirit, because that's not even what I meant to write. Thank you, Ruach HaKodesh. That's great. Like he didn't send himself. He sent the government. I need you to catch the king, right? You were created to worship, okay. So watch this. In your worship just meaning extreme respect. He's a judge from the throne. You like that? Yeah, so watch this. He sent the government. He didn't send himself. He would eventually send himself. But understand, even when he sent Yahshua Mashiach, right, his son, his only begotten son, when he sends him, he sent him to give you what? He said the kingdom of heaven has arrived. He said the kingdom is important to expand. You guys have messed up in the expansion of the kingdom, right? Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom is supposed to be coming, and your will is supposed to be being done where? On at Aretz, or on earth, in the same manner that it's done where? In Shemayim, in heaven. You guys have messed that up, right? So now I got to give you your daily bread and allow you to have to realize what it is to be forgiving and also to be forgiving, right? Then I need to have you go through this process. Why? For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Now let me make sure that it rains down, the daily bread, the manna from heaven, right? Through the king that I'm going to bring down onto the earth realm, Yahshua HaMashiach, who's then going to do what? Give you back access to the government and make sure that there is a representative for me called Ruach HaKodesh. We would call her, right, or this person, we would call them what? We would call her a governor. I don't know if I'm spelling governor right, so forgive me if I'm not, right? I don't know if that's an E or O. But the government had a governor sent down. Vision, purpose, and value, right? Even in the kingdom, there's vision. The vision, the king sends the government, and he sends it through a governor. Sent to give the laws. Well, not only is sent to give the laws protect rights. So you have rights in the kingdom, and I have to send a government that has laws, right, to be able to protect your rights. And so I send the governor. Now, what is the governor supposed to do? The governor is the embodiment of the king, and therefore is an embodiment of the kingdom. The king, right, declares out of his kingdom, where his throne is located. The governor declares out of the government, which is out of the king, which is out of the kingdom. Vision, purpose, and value. How do you find vision, purpose, and value? What's governing you? What is the thing that governs you, that gets you up in the morning, that gets you started? It says, man, I got to get my exercise in. It says, man, I have to become a better person. It says, I got to read these books. I can't wait to see this next episode. What are the things that push you to dominate? But watch this, not just dominate for yourself, to be expansive in domination. There's a reason why our people aren't gentrifying. We're afraid of gentrification. So we talk bad about when others do it. Gentrification is a natural process of kingdom building. So if somebody's gentrifying, that means that they're infringing upon your territory. My question would be, why is it so easy that they would infringe upon your territory, and why is it that we're not supporting ourselves as much as we'll support them? It's a different mindset. If your vision is to make sure that you continue, right? I've been listening to a lot of Kanye West for whatever reason, old Kanye West a lot recently, especially Power, right? No one man should have all that power and stuff, but he says in one of his verses, in this white man's world, we chosen, right? In this white man's world, we chosen. So he's saying we're chosen black people, but he's still saying, well, it's a white man's world. When the vision becomes that this is the world, and I as a black man, and if I want to go further as an Israelite, have the ability to see myself as great, that my purpose changes, even in my government. A lot of people keep going to a government structure that says you ain't nothing, waiting for it to dominate you, right? But who's your governor, or what are you the governor of? What are you the representative of? the king would send the governor down, and the governor would bring troops. All you needed was the government, and then to make sure that the government was put in place just in case you were going to find some opposition. The governor just by himself. So guess what? You bring some troops, and it wasn't a lot. He just had 300. Joshua came down. He ain't had that many. He had 12. One time he had 70. Sure, there were 15,000 plus that showed up when he broke the bread and the fish and all that stuff. But reality is that he was pretty much came down. He was out there in the wilderness by himself. He fought off the devil by saying, "It is written, it is written, it is written." He was still weak though. Guess what he had to do? He had to have angels came and they served him, right? All you gotta have is a governor that comes with a little bit of troops, and then you knock it out. Now where is our little bit of troops? Right? We keep talking about our allies as troops, and look, I'm not mad at the allies, but understand allies are only limited to what they can do for you. Vision, purpose, and value. I told you this is going to be a little different than we've used vision, purpose, and value, but prayerfully you're getting this thing, right? Now let's go to your business. In your business, kingdom, right? What is your kingdom mentality? What is your business going to do to expand? You as the royalty here, what are you going to do to make sure that you sit on the throne and are consistent with the values that you have said are in your kingdom, right? When you send out your product, how does it govern? What is the government? What is the government? Like when you get an Apple product, they say you can't use this unless you sign in here, do this, use this, blah, 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 sign up for this, pay for this, Apple Pay this, blah, blah. Everything's governed already. And they have governors, or they have certain specific things in there that make sure. They even have stores that they've sent out to make sure that you will be governed in the right way. And they have troops. They have people that work for them. They tell you this is what's going to happen. Well, I really want to do this with my phone. No, we don't do that at Apple. Or you use the wrong word. I was thinking about my GPay. Said, we don't have GPay. What's GPay? They know what you're talking about. They know you mean Apple Pay, but they're trying to get you what? They're governing you. They're governing your speech. They sent, even, think about this. In colonization, they sent a language. Why are we speaking in English right now? Right? Why is French and Spanish and even Mandarin, right, more taught than Kiswahili, than Lingala, right? Than Malayan or Mali type languages. Why is even though many of us are Israelite, almost none of us know Hebrew at all. Why is that? Why do we actually speak a lot of Hebrew words or see a lot of Hebrew writings and we don't even know enough to say, oh, that's actually Hebrew? Why do we not know that? Why do they put it in movies and you don't even recognize in the movie they're telling you about yourself? Right? Because there's a government that's hiding that from you. Somebody's governed your very language. In your vision, right? Once you do have a vision that's expansive, and your purpose to get daily manifestation, you're going to have to come up with a governing system. In your house, what's the governing system? Like when I was a child, and you know how as a child, you go and you say, hey, Dad, I want to do this. What's the governing system? Go talk to your mom. Why? Because the authority in the house, the king and the queen, they already had this conversation. They know that you guys are going to play each other. They used to do it as children themselves. So they have, in the kingdom, they have a governing system. So when you come to them, they have a governor. They have a certain specific, already set, established language. If my child comes to me and asks for this, I'm already going to say, go talk to your mother. Go talk to your father. Right? And so now you begin, as the troops, as the children, you kind of start falling in line. So somebody says, like you guys are playing as children, whatever, and somebody's like, man, I want to do this. I want to get this game or whatever. I'm going to go get it or whatever. And somebody be like, hey, you want to make sure that you talk to Dad. I want to talk to Dad because he's already going to say I got to ask Mom. And then the other person say, well, you probably shouldn't do it. Right? Like they already have a conversation because the kingdom has been established by the ruling parties. They have a government. They already have certain governors in place. And now you fall in line as good troops to a government that's the best for you, because they probably didn't want you to play the game because it's probably something that's too old for you, or probably something that they don't want in your mindset at all. Right? So in all these different things, in your vision, your purpose, now value comes out of that. Value is going to start coming out of this, right? But kingdom, king, government, governor, troops. Now what's the next thing? Now they become what we call, and we should be this, but we don't like it. We don't like to use this term because somebody perverted it over time. But once they've done this, they become the master. Right? And a lot of people don't comprehend. See, you should become masters. I mean, you go to school to get your master's. What does master mean? Master means you can teach it. This is the educational system that you're in, by the way. A lot of people don't know this, so let me break this down. This is how school was created by people like Thomas Jefferson. School was created so that they knew a whole bunch of people weren't even going to be able to afford to go to school. So they just assumed, hey, you guys are going to be workers or you're going to be slaves basically for the rest of your life. Who cares about you? Then you have elementary school. We'll teach you some elementary things. You'll really still be on the same level just about as the person who doesn't have any education at all. But you'll go to school. A lot of you will have to go ahead and start helping out and helping your parents and stuff. You won't be able to finish school. You will let you go. Then we have, before there was a junior high school, it was just secondary school. We'll give you some secondary training, right? So you'll be above the other people. You really are still going to be living the same way the other people do, but you'll make a couple more dollars, and so you'll feel a little better, and they'll look up to you because you make a couple more dollars, but you're all in the same boat. After that, right, I know the associates was added, right, but let's go to the bachelor's, right? Then there's the bachelor's degree, where the single male, right, because they weren't focused on women, the single male should be able to learn at a certain level, and he should be able to do certain things. He doesn't even have to really go to school like that. His parents, after a year, will pay a certain amount of money and will give him a degree and will say that you are qualified to be a bachelor. Now, those who want to go past that will give them what's called a master's degree. The master's degree says that you can now teach the system. You can teach the kingdom. What in your vision is about teaching the kingdom? And whose kingdom is it teaching? Right? Whose vision are you teaching? But a master is a teacher. So once a kingdom is established and it's expanding, a king is going to sit on the throne and decree and live in that which is going to expand. He's going to send not himself, but he's going to send a government, right? Which is just basically a representation of what? The government. He's going to send the kingdom through a governor who's going to live in a governor's mansion, protected by troops who will make sure that whatever the governor says is what they do, and the troops will only follow the governor as long as the governor follows the king. Because if he doesn't follow the king, the troops can be killed off, just like the governor can be killed off. And once this happens, now you begin to become a master or a teacher. Now, I'm going to put this last thing in there, but this isn't really what we live in, but I'm just going to put this here because a lot of people are stuck on the master's word, so I got to say it like this. That's why people became slaves. People think that people became slaves, or ancestors became slaves, Slavic people became slaves, people went from indentured service to becoming slaves simply because of the fact that they were put in chains. After you put in chains, the first ones were forced by the troops to do what was necessary. Then what the troops did is they forced them to become masters over their own children. That's Willie Lynch letter. Read the Willie Lynch letter. Read the Willie Lynch speech, right? What does the Willie Lynch speech say? It says that we're going to reverse the roles of the mother and father. We're going to separate everybody by color, by plantation, by age, by whether they're male or female, right? All this stuff. We're going to separate them, and then we're going to have man and woman, or husband and wife, reverse roles. We're not even going to call them husband and wife. We're going to call them N-words, right? And we're not going to call them human beings. And we're going to say that they're not husband and wife anymore, but they're just N-word male and N-word female. And we're going to reverse the roles to where the father is now the one who needs to be protected, but is often scared. And we're going to reverse the role of the woman to be where she has to be subject to us. She's over the family, and she has to act like she's not scared in our presence, but live in fear of us the whole time. And she will teach her children to do the same. They, in essence, said, we're going to take the black woman and the black male. We're going to take the black male's authority away, right? We're going to put our government in place of what he used to be able to do to govern. We're going to teach the black woman to become the new master. And the women are still the masters in our community. In the Republic of the United States of America, the most educated person is the black woman. On the planet, the most educated person is the black woman. Yet she's the most underpaid. We have to teach her how to keep everything in line so that they'll remain slaves mentally. You see that? Vision, purpose, and value. Right, she will become frozen. You see, you know what I'm talking about, right? She will become frozen. She will not do what's in her nature. They said that she will come outside of her nature. He literally said we will reverse the nature. You said, whose vision? Oh, that's great. Whose vision are you teaching, right? So as a master, we have a lot of people that still teach. They keep saying black people need to get better, but they're trying to teach you from somebody's perverted kingdom. But in our kingdom, everyone should be sovereign. Our king is the ultimate of sovereigns and has given everybody authority to be sovereigns. He sends his government down, right, and allows you to govern, and even is going to send troops or backup for you so that you can start teaching something. And we're not teaching people how to be slaves. No, we're not trying to teach them that. We're teaching people how to be leaders themselves. And I'm sorry for the crooked writing. We're teaching them how to lead themselves. And we want to have a generation that grows up where everybody are leaders. Because remember, in our government, people don't lead over people, they lead over your environment. Remember that. In our government, you don't lead people, you lead what? You lead an environment. In our government, you don't do what? You don't lead over people. In our government, you lead an environment. So, and they will become masters themselves, who will end up having backup, because they will begin to govern people through a government sent down from the King of Kings that is who is over and over expanding kingdom. And they will be able to lead from their own thrones, right? And pass down the government to another generation of governors who will have people who will back them up, who will be teachers, and will just continue the same thing. Vision of the kingdom now establishes the purpose of everybody who's going to get in line, and it gives what? Now it gives ultimate value. It gives the ultimate value. Now there's value to this, right? Now, so in your plan, my brother, my sister, you said to see the connection to all their brothers and sisters of the human race. I have no problem with them seeing the connection to all the brothers and sisters of the human race. The problem is that somebody had to come up with the word race and say that it wasn't a competition. Or I'm sorry, and use competition and say the competition was no longer about just getting more than what somebody else had, which is terrible enough. But now it's about, I got to now have more than what you have. I got to have you and own you. So if somebody's been taught in a wicked kingdom, in a wicked system, that they're nothing, first and foremost, I got to make sure that they believe that they're great. I got to make sure they understand who they are, that they're great. Once they understand who they are as being great and valuable, right, then we can go ahead and start grafting other people into that and stuff. But first things first, right? Like if I'm dealing with an alcoholic, what do they teach you? First and foremost, you must understand that you are an alcoholic, right? You can't have a relationship with somebody else if you're still in alcoholism, because you're going to mess them up, beat them, steal from them, kill people, drunk drive, do all types of stuff, because you don't have you under control. I got to get you to govern yourself. Once you govern yourself, then we can start having this conversation about getting you back in society. Then we got programs that will work with you to make sure that you can go ahead and start making a little money again, right? Then we can get your life back on track. But we're not going to act like anybody should be put into society. That would be terrible governing. We got to get you right. And as a people, there's a lot of us who are not even prepared to go into society because we don't even know how to take care of ourselves. If you can't take care of your babies, I don't want you babysitting a little white girl. You mess her up too. If you messing your baby up and I'm watching on TikTok and your baby twerking at 1.5 years, right? Your baby's educated enough to twerk, but your baby's not educated enough to read or write. Like, I got a problem with you first. Let me make sure that your baby can be taught to read or write. You'll mess somebody else up. And look, we're the leaders anyways, if you want to be real. And twerking came from us. Don't be mad at Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus just took what you did. You know, us putting more stock in the Tootsie Roll back in the day and skeet that we did in making sure that we own businesses, that's on us. That's not on somebody. Now, they helped that along, but I'm not going to act like that. We could have made a different decision than that, and we can still make different decisions. We're not in a place to where I would say, hey, go out there and start teaching these people this stuff. If you ain't ready, if you can't teach your own people, if you can't live with your own people, you keep teaching your people, hey, the best way to make your community better is to move out of it. Okay, so then if you been moving out of your society for years and years and years, and other people then come into your society, gentrify it, and say, I see some value in here. You guys keep leaving, I keep seeing value in it. At some point, we got to say, our value system is messed up. What's the purpose of leaving if the vision that we're saying is going to make people better is not making anybody better? So before I can focus on kumbaya for the whole world, I got to get at least 1 or 2 people to get right within themselves. Willie Lynch said, go back to the same Willie Lynch letter. He said he had to teach white people too that this stuff was real. White people didn't believe this at one point. He said we got to teach them too that this thing is real, and so they'll go for it, or at least be quiet while we do it. And then he said at the end we had to reverse the nature. He said the only anomaly that would ever happen, he said not an anomaly, what did he say? It's just like an anomaly. I forget the word he used, but basically he said something amazing, like almost like a miracle has to happen. He said if black people would ever come to themselves, and if the world is ever going to get right, he said that black fathers and black mothers have to go back to being in their original state where they would love one another from where they're supposed to be. He said if that ever happens, whole system crumbles, which means that they from the family would become masters again. But as long as we're the master, teaching them to not be leaders, but to be led by somebody who doesn't even want to, that has royalty that doesn't even like them, and is expanding a thought process that doesn't even like them, sending governors to give a government that allows troops to be masters over them, police officers, slave patrolmen, then they will never be leaders. They will just simply be led by people who will continue the same system over and over again. So my goal is not to sit here and say, hey, we need to be over white men. I just told you, any great leader is not a leader over another person. They are a leader over an environment, and they allow other leaders to come up through their environment and do greater things than them. At some point, I will know if my teaching is great, because at some point I will see a bunch of people who are taking what I've done and taking it to levels that I could have never even thought of. That's when I know that my teaching is great, right? So I have to, that's what the mastering, become a master of that. And once your people have mastered things from within themselves, then you can come. You said a book whose purpose is to teach a person to believe in themselves. Okay, you said, I like your message. I'm half Cherokee and German. You have a good head on your shoulders, my friend. Okay, well, thank you very much. You're welcome. You said, makes sense to me. So we have to stand up to be counted as part of the kingdom. I like that. Should I see what you did there? You really can't progress without getting yourself together first. Yeah, you have to. Thank you, Zashima. Thank you, user 404. Yeah, so we appreciate you all for being on. And it's about vision, purpose, and value. So even though we went a different way with it probably than many expected us to, when you've heard us talk about this before, prayerfully you got a lot out of this. Remember, we talked about vision is the blueprint, purpose is the daily manifestation, value is going to be the appreciation. You can't appreciate in value, right, if you don't have vision and purpose. Everything out of this vision, the vision of the kingdom is going to establish the purpose of every single part of this that we've discussed, right? The vision of the kingdom, or your vision for your business, or your vision for your family, or your vision for yourself, or etc. The vision of the kingdom is going to establish what you as the king do. That's why Yahshua kept saying, I've come to bring the kingdom. He preached on the kingdom more than he did miracles or anything else, right? I've come to bring you the kingdom. The kingdom is the value, right? I'm not saying we shouldn't worship the king. We shouldn't say, yes, we're thankful, Yahshua, for what you did. What I'm saying is that Yahshua himself kept saying, don't get so caught up even in me who's showing up if you don't understand what I came to bring. I came to bring you the government. Don't get so happy about me that you miss the government. Don't be so happy in singing about Jesus, precious Jesus, right? That's great. Sing out to Yahshua, but he said, don't forget that I came with something. I brought something on my shoulders, right? The government was upon my shoulders. Isaiah chapter 9, right? Verses 6 and 7, is it? You know? A child is born, a son to us is given. The government shall be upon his shoulders. And his name will be Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty Elohim, the Everlasting Abba, and the Prince of Peace, the Prince of Shalom. That's great. All that stuff is there. Amazing, right? But he came with what? The government on his shoulders. And because of who he was, and he stated who he is, even in his death, his gift brought him before who? Another governor. Him and Pontius Pilate had to have a conversation. And another governor on earth had to say, outside of the Israelites, had to say, hey, I wash my hands of this. Like, the world has no problem with this. You and Israel seem to have an issue right now we, the representation of the world, we're just doing what is said between y'all, and didn't know that what he was saying is prophecy says you got to do what you do. There was vision, purpose, and value even in that conversation, right? So vision, purpose, and value is where we're headed. This is our year of pursuit where we're pursuing the promises of the Most High. You can't really do that without vision, purpose, and value, can you? And we're hashtag finishing strong, hashtag finish strong in everything that we're doing. We talked about last night. I think, oh no, we have it on YouTube. I was going to say that's a TikTok exclusive, but we actually have it on YouTube where it says, where we were talking about don't bring anything that you don't need. This is the time where for us to start seeing that a lot of other people, a lot of businesses, a lot of companies, a lot of people that you know in your personal life, they're living by vision, purpose, and value. It's time for you to see if you're going to do the same thing. So we thank you. We appreciate you all. And our prayer is that you not only be hearers of this word, but doers of this word as well, in the name of Yahweh Elohim, or in the name of Yahweh. Amen. So thank you for being on. Let's see. We're going to... So I want to write out once again, if you want to check out my wife, one of the ways you can do so is look up hashtag Find Bloom. You can look her up on TikTok, YouTube, and her website at Bloom and Flourish, not A-N-D, but the letter N, Bloom and Flourish. You can also check her out at, I don't know if I can fit this whole thing on there, but I'm going to try to. Oh. You can also check out her stuff at Changing Lives. And you're gonna have to take a screenshot of this. I'm running out of time. I have to take my leave, so. Okay, we fit it in there. Great. And you can also text her at 410-469-1553. All right. So that's the information for her. If you need to take a screenshot real quick, please do so. I'm gonna leave it up for 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Even gave you the slow count. All right. So check that out. And ways you can support her: she's a healer, she's a herbalist, she's a chemist, and she's a biologist by degree, by the way, for people who need to hear that. And if you need contact with her to be able to get tinctures, different things like that, even people who've been asking about copper cups, things of that nature, those things that she does, whether it's through her business or whether it's through her her nonprofit, excuse me. All right, 410-469-1553. Okay. If you want to follow what we're doing, on this side of things, it's all the same thing. You can check us out by putting hashtag Find Kofi. All right, that's FINDKOFI. You can also look us up on our website at KOFI. And by the way, for those of you who were looking at the last website I put, yes, initiative doesn't have the E at the end on purpose. So put it in exactly the way that I did. Before somebody thinks about that, hey, you misspelled that. That's actually on purpose. You can go to hashtag Find Kofi. You can go to kofi-40.com to find that information about the land that we're getting, to find out information about how to be a part of that, to be a part of our classes, to be a part of our Bible study that's on Zoom, the classes on Zoom, the Brothers in Black on Zoom, to be a part of the Halloween special session we'll be doing with our children, 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time. Brothers in Black will be on October 30th, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time. Our Bible studies will start next Monday, every Monday at 6:45 a.m. Eastern New York time. It's early rising, I know, but it is what it is. And then we'll get into our live session right after that. For those who would like to be part of what we're doing as far as marital coaching and contracts, where we're going to write out marriage contracts for people so that we can actually be together as one. Also, too, don't forget, November as well, we're looking at starting to get a list together of places where we can be baptized. So those that are interested in being baptized in the name of Yahweh, Yashvai, At Ruach HaKodesh, feel free to be able to make sure that you join us for that. And then in December 18th, I believe, whatever that Saturday is around there, we're going to be doing the Women in Red. That'll be at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern in New York time. We're thankful and grateful for everybody joining us for that. So yeah. Oh, and if you'd like to get in contact with us, here are the 2 numbers that you can do so. Yeah, 410-714-5078. You also have 202-599-7312. Okay? If you, like we said earlier, if you'd like to see any Cash App information or anything like that, you can look it up. We also have things like Cash App, PayPal, Green Dot, Zelle, and Apple Pay. So if you'd like to be able to reach out to us or do anything with us regarding what we're talking about, you can feel free to do those things and be with us and participate in what we're doing to grow as a community. We're thankful and grateful for you all being on today. Thank you so much. So it is Tuesday, so we'll be back on at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time. For those that are taking class, we'll have our monarchy class this evening at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern New York time. Thank you for those who joined us as we started yesterday with marriage. And so we have other classes that we're looking forward to doing and growing and showing. We appreciate you taking time out again to be with us. And we thank you for allowing us to continue to be part of this walk, and you being part of this walk with us as the diaspora continues to grow. And we do what Revelation chapter 12 says, to get away from being remnants that can be picked off and having the remnant come together, to be separated from a lot of the mess as things get worse and worse and worse. If you want to get in touch with us some other way, by the way, hit us up in the comment section, hit us up and DM us, and I'll make sure I get back to you as soon as time allows. So thank you for being on with us. We appreciate the King and Queen in each and every one of you. As always, this has been Pastor Kofi, aka the Shadow Band One, Pastor Servant to Christ, where we're always changing lives one mind at a time by being a voice of the voiceless and speaking the unspoken, until I have the great privilege, opportunity, and responsibility of being in front of you all again. Please remember, as always, that you are loved, you are necessary, you are majestic, you are fearfully and wonderfully made, and you, which is all of us working together, we shall be the reason this world changes for the better. Bare minimum, we'll be the reason why people who are in this system no longer have to be ever. Shalom, fam.